In my last video about Luke chapter 2, I talked briefly about the census that Mary and Joseph were called to attend because the nature of the Roman Empire was everybody had to go back to their birth place, or the place of their family history. And so they went back to Bethlehem, and that's where Jesus was born because of that great social upheaval. And then we hear these verses in Luke chapter 2 from verse 8. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. So those shepherds were out in the fields at night, and they were looking after flocks. They were people who were considered unclean and outcast. And suddenly, in the midst of that situation, they see the glory of God come through this angelic visitation. This incredible experience, and absolutely frightened, really scared out of their wits as they experience this. And sometimes we are living our life in an ordinary fashion, maybe in a very obscure fashion, and we experience something dramatic where God breaks into it. God breaks into the situation powerfully in incredible ways. And I want to pray that whatever the ordinary nature of the life that you're living right now, whatever the simplicity it might feel, or even obscurity, that does your life count for anything? Are you the outsider, the one who nobody really is thinking about much? Or maybe you feel that it's just mundane and it's just it ticks along, but you long for that great encounter, to see something different, to see something that's just profoundly different in your life. That moment of radical change, that moment of a sense of meaning and purpose again. That moment too, whether perhaps you're a Christian believer and you're just praying for that breakthrough in your life, that change, that radical encounter with God that you feel has been missing, and life hasn't felt like that for some time. Maybe life has felt very boring and uneventful. So I want to pray that God will encounter us afresh, however it feels, however sort of, we sometimes say in the UK, how blah, it just feels uneventful and lacking the meaning and purpose that we long for. However it feels, I just pray that today this will be the beginning of something profoundly different, like the shepherds who were just there on the outside watching their sheep, having a very a small role in the society in which they lived. I pray that we would experience that encounter with God, that thing that was not only life changing for us, but maybe also life changing for others, maybe significant in a much wider way than we could ever imagine. Significant perhaps in the town or city that we live in, significant perhaps in a wider context, more than we would ever know. Those shepherds never expected that moment to be written down in a book that was shared all around the world for hundreds of years to come. I'm sure that wasn't what they were expecting the moment before it all happened. That their lives were not considered lives of international significance and worldwide history that has been read so many millions and millions of times. I wonder what it was like for them. Even 5 minutes before, half an hour before that happened, they didn't expect something that would cause such shock waves around the whole globe for such a long time. So you never know, whatever God has around the corner, it could be something amazing. It could be something way more than you could ever ask or imagine. So let's just ask God and dig into that possibility that He is able to do things way beyond what we can imagine, and He's able to do something with our life way beyond anything that we could ever conceive as possible.